So we're gonna pick a headline, a title for the show real quick. But then I definitely want to talk some more about your drawing, because it's great.
That's amazing.
It's really good.
Thanks.
What should we pick, Roger? Do you have any favorites?
Can you hear me? Is my audio working?
I can hear you. I
thought
can
that was-
Yahoo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
There was a really good. Let me see. Yahoo. Can you Yahoo me now?
I like that
And
one.
then there was one that was after Yahoo. Verizon's buying Alta Vista. That was pretty funny. Oh, how about the other Yahoo one? Did it go away?
What can you Yahoo me now?
Yeah,
That
I
one's on
think.
top now.
Oh,
Yeah, that's number one.
Okay, yes. Oh, it moved. Yeah, can you Yahoo me now? That one I like.
Can
I
Yahoo
like
me now?
that. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go with that one now. Perfect. Hey, so Len,
Yes.
tell us who the that angry, the screaming spirit of Yahoo.
Yeah, I sort of got into it here during the show, but when I found out that Ayaz was going to be a part of the show, whenever I would do these drawings for the show, we shall not
Tech News Today.
speak.
It's okay. You can say its name.
We used to for Tech News Today. I used to do these drawings that were very editorial in nature, and so I looked at the story and I thought, well, this is a very simple idea. And what I loved about it was that the Verizon sort of has this, it's two letters, it's the V and then the Y, and it just kind of makes this interesting look that actually worked. And my little contribution is to make it. I couldn't help but make it, personify the Y and the V, where the
Are those
V is,
AOL colored teeth?
No, I didn't even think about that. No,
AOL is usually yellow, isn't it?
AOL is green.
Oh my gosh, those could. I know you didn't intend this, but those could be little AOL logos.
After you said that they were going to kind of combine Yahoo and AOL, I'm like, oh, maybe I should work that in there too. But maybe I kind of subliminally did.
Yeah, you sort of did. Anyway.
But this was a lot of fun, and I wanted to do something that was simple, yet very violent.
I love it.
Thanks.
Simple and violent.
It's violent. Just because Yahoo has been violenced.
Yes.
Like in the press, in the markets, like it has not had an easy time, and this does seems like how they would feel right now.
For sure. Yeah. This was a lot of fun.
I think for the simplicity of the Verizon logo to make it that vicious looking, that is some great work, because it looks. I mean, there's no motion, but it looks like it's devouring this thing.
Yes.
It's such a great piece.
Yeah, thanks. I was when I went to Google the Verizon logo. That's the first thing I thought of. Was like, well, what does this logo look like? I knew I wanted to do something that was going to be attacking the Yahoo, eating it up, so to speak. And so
It almost looks like a shark if you tilt your head. Like your signature's the eye.
Yahoo.
A lot of fun. But yeah, so very cool. And it is available in my online store right now if you're interested in getting this as sort of a reminder of this day in history.
It'd be great to have in case the deal doesn't go through. It's like, remember when this almost happened?
Yeah. It's great if you work for Yahoo or Verizon. This would be
I would especially if this goes through. I would like every Yahoo employee to have this in their cube.
On the back of their business cards. That's what I want to see. Yahoo, a subdivision of Verizon.
This is the new logo, everyone.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. It's funny because when you say, oh yeah, you're giving me material that is like really, really hard to work with, but I usually find that those things are like
you always turn it around. You always come up with something great.
Yeah, it's fun. This was a lot of fun. What I also like too is that the Y just sort of made those kind of crazy arms reaching out, which was sort of like a happy accident. So it was.
Yeah, and the exclamation point even just now has a whole new meaning.
It does. And of course the Yahoo, turning that into a scream. Perfect.
Yeah. No, it's almost representative of the past 8 years for that company.
Well, as long as they keep Yahoo Mail running, I don't care who owns it.
Oh, you still have a Yahoo Mail account?
I use it. I use it for certain transactions online that are spammy.
Yeah, I use it for the same thing. I've moved almost all my really important stuff over to other accounts, but I still have a few things that
I have
Yahoo isn't there.
I have like my utility bills that go there.
Oh, interesting. I don't have
Whoa.
anything like that.
That's serious stuff.
I mean, like my water and gas and
Yeah,
electricity.
you kind of need that.
Yeah, but I also get a notice in my bank too. I'm
Oh,
like,
okay, so it's just the backup then.
the thing is their Yahoo their email is probably one of the few bright spots that they could do something with.
They've actually done some really interesting things with it the past couple of years too. It's one area that Marissa Meyer's influence I think has been very positive.
It is very Google-like in many ways.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. They
Oh
made
man,
Gmail.
I just
Forgot
got
about
the notice that my ThinkUp subscription has been canceled.
Oh no.
No, it's because they're closing the company. I love ThinkUp.
Hmm.
We're sorry to see you go. I'm sorry to see me go too.
Hey, this is a plug for a Netflix show. I'm sure everybody's heard about it, but Stranger Things. If anybody's not watching Stranger
they're
Things,
on episode 6.
oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I can't wait till season 2. I just hope they don't run into a sophomore slump. But man, boy oh boy, what a great show that is.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how it ends. Actually,
Oh, okay, episode 6. Yes.
I'm 2 episodes away from the end.
It's
I haven't
like,
seen a single episode.
oh my gosh, if
I-
you are a fan of Stephen King, Spielberg, The Goonies,
Mhm.
And they wear it on their sleeve too, which is
I've heard the same thing from lots of
Yeah.
people, and like I'm just waiting to get to it. Like,
yeah,
what did we just finish? Like we're finishing a whole bunch of shows, and like then we still got, I think we have Mr. Robot next, which we have never seen, which is weird, and it's all on Amazon right now. So like the first season anyway. So it'd be nice to catch up to that while season 2 is happening right now. So like those are the priorities. And Stranger Things will have to wait.
No,
for-
I have the same shows where like Stranger Things is one where Eileen wanted to watch it too, and so it kind of jumped to the front of the queue.
right.
But there are plenty of shows. Hannibal's one that people have been telling me for years. Like, this is a great show. You have to watch it.
Mhm.
And I want to. And it's just only so many hours in the day when I'm not podcasting.
Yeah,
that I
somebody
can
else
watch
told me Narcos is supposed to be good.
I watched a few episodes of Narcos and loved it, but then I just ran out of time for it.
Well, the other thing is Narcos. Like, unless you speak Spanish, you know how you do like a second screen. I always have a second screen open, right?
Oh yeah, no, you can't
So-
do that with a second
right.
screen. 'Cause
My
it is
Spanish-
its own second screen
My
unless you speak
Spanish isn't that good, so like
Yeah.
I have to like look up from time to time, and I'm like, damn it, I have to like completely pay attention to this. I can't watch the show.
That's funny because I completely pay attention to every show I watch.
Really? You don't
I don't
scroll on
second
your
screen
phone or
hardly
Twitter or anything like that?
anything. No. Eileen does. She just sit there on Facebook. Every once in a while, she has to ask me what happened.
When I watch Tiny House Nation, I don't think I need that much attention.
Okay, when we're watching House Hunters, it's the same thing. I'll
Tiny
just,
No,
House
but this is the stuff I watch. Like I watch a lot of brain dead shows because I'm exhausted. At the end, I'm like, you know what? I could probably take care of banking while the show's on. At the end, I'm like, look at that.
I went
Right.
through a Tiny House Nation thing a couple weeks ago, and you know what? It just infuriated me as my new hate watch show.
Why did you hate the show?
Oh, I just the people on it, the one like
They're so smug.
yes,
And they're so infuriatingly
That's
snobbish.
it's Tiny Luxury is the worst one. Tiny Luxury.
They're
Yeah, 'cause
also
I know what you're talking about.
I think that my wife hates that show because there's a level of pretension in all those
Yes.
people
Yes.
that
No.
would literally fill up 5 of those tiny houses.
Here's why I enjoy the show. You're right about the people on it. But like I live in a New York City apartment, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to look for some ideas for smaller places. And if I ever wanted to have like a second home somewhere, I'm like, you know, could I live in a 500 square foot place? I'm like, yeah, I did that for about 2 years. So why not see what options are out there? But you're right. There is this like South Park style pretentiousness where there's like,
No, you know what bothers me is they actually get to see their tiny house and they go, "Oh my gosh, it's so spacious," and I'm thinking, why do you care? Like, why is that important to you?
that's
Obviously
against
not.
your values.
Why don't you just buy an Airstream or like get a trailer that can expand out, the ones that expand, and just hey, you could go that route, just go that route.
I think the one that really infuriated me was this couple in Seattle. They had
So
a
is Seattle.
house. Yeah, it is Seattle or Portland. There was a couple that lived, this hipster couple that lived in this house, and they wanted to build a tiny house in their backyard, live in the tiny house, and
Yep.
then
Rent
out the large house. But they loved having parties, and they always had their friends crashing and like having wine parties, and they'd like sleep. So it's really important that we're able to have like our friends over on our tiny house. And I'm like, well, why don't you just like build a tiny house, rent that out, and
Right.
stay in the big house?
Why don't you just stay in the big house and deal with the fact that what you want and what you need to do are two separate.
Well,
What you think you want and what you actually do are two different
Oh, you know
things.
what's even better? Why don't you just confine yourselves to one room in your big house, and there's your tiny house?
Well, it's sort of like, do you really
Have
want
your
to have
friends
your
rent it.
bathroom right next to where you eat? Like, it's just, I don't know. There's something about
It's the composting toilet thing that I'm like, nope,
Oh, yes.
nope, 100%, nope.
Those are not cheap.
We had composting toilets in my law school, Vermont Law School, and they had them like on every floor. So basically, there was like a pit at every seat, and it's like you realize that if you drop your ID, phone, wallet, or whatever, it's gone, like gone. This isn't like I would left it in the toilet and like I can dry it out with some rice. No.
No.
So
Just burn that thing.
yeah, it's over. But back then there weren't smartphones like there are now, so that's a different hole, I guess.
I mean, I understand the need to downsize, and I do agree that a lot of homes being built today are much too large
Right.
for even a standard family of 4, maybe even 5 people. But like at the same time, you're going, I think, the exact opposite. That there's a limit, especially if you have kids.
Yes.
Kids having a kid, you realize some space, like their own space.
It's so weird. There was one that there was like this teenage girl and like their parents. So their bedrooms were on 2 different lofts on 2 different sides, and it's like you're only separated by about like 5 feet, right? Like I don't know about you, but where I'm from, sound travels. So you gotta dampen some of this because it's just
State of existence.
The best part about that one couple from Seattle is that when they they had like kind of like an epilogue to show like how they liked it,
Mhm.
and like, oh, this is terrific, although there's this huge ladder in the middle of our house that we have to kind of step over because they wanted a dining room table, and the only way they could do a dining room table is if they had this pulley system they put it on their ceiling, and then they had to pull it down to eat, and then that made no room, and then they had to add like there was no shelving in their kitchen, so like they could not open the refrigerator and the oven at the same time. Like it was ridiculous. And then they were complaining, not really, they were complaining, but they said they weren't complaining, that there was all this great storage underneath their bed in their loft, but in order to get to it, they had to lay it across the bed to open it up to put everything in.
You
We're
know
not
what?
complaining.
They should do a follow-up in 5 to 6 years and see how many of those tiny homes are either back up for sale.
Yes. Well, you can't sell them. That's not an investment. It's not like you're going to sell that thing, right? That's
Well,
not.
no,
like
you
you're buying
sell it to the
property.
next guest on
Yeah.
Tiny House Hunters.
there you go.
Or you know what you do? You turn it to an Airbnb and just
Yeah,
say,
that's
I
one-
made a horrible lifestyle change, and it did work out because you know what? You can't have your cake and eat it too.
No, you know what the epilogue should be, Roger? It should be like when they put those tiny homes on wheels, and the first time they go driving, they should put a camera inside to show all these knickknacks falling off the walls.
Like seriously,
I didn't realize the show struck a chord with so many people.
I just showed. I used to like Property Brothers, but now I just find it's very formulaic.
No, I like that. It is formulaic, but I do like those guys because they actually.
No,
are
well, that's
doing-
why I could watch something else when I watch House Hunters or Property Brothers, because I
Right.
know what's going to happen, but they still pull me in, and I still find myself like, oh, but I want to know what it looks like when they're finished.
And you know what? They all look like the same IKEA renovated home with.
It's all about the open space. It's all about the open plan.
Yeah, and you know what?
floor plan.
Sometimes
Knock
you
down
don't
this
want an
wall.
open space. If you're a bad cook, I can guarantee you want some doors to close and a separate window to blow out that burnt fish or something.
How many people really make use of those open kitchens? Like, they all say they're going to. I'm sure some of them do. but most people don't cook these days.
I'm going to entertain myself. It's like, no. It's just...
Well, it was so funny because actually I got called out by somebody who on Twitter because I was tweeting about how much I hated these tiny house shows, and someone in SoCal was like, well, this is a really, really viable idea. And I said, yeah, but I don't, it's just not for me, because they're like, well, of course, because you have all these kids. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't make any sense. You can't get away from anybody. And his thing was, well, here in California, the outdoors, you can just leave. You can go outdoors. I'm like, so I gotta leave my house every time I want to get away from somebody? Like,
no, we lived in an Eichler house in San Rafael, and the whole point was like, you've got outdoor living. And yeah, even though the weather's great, sometimes you just don't want to be outside. You don't want to have to. There's bugs out there and
There's
noise.
Bugs. It's windy. Some days you get stuff dropping on you.
Yeah.
It's loud. The neighbors doing yard
I'm not
work.
complaining, but. No, I mean, I'm seriously, like, I still enjoyed being out there sometimes, but you can't really make that a room in your house because it's not always prime, right? You don't go out there. I didn't go out there much when it was dark because having lights on attracted bugs, and so, like you say, sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's windy. Like, yeah, it doesn't rain anymore in California, so I guess that solves that.
It doesn't rain anywhere. It's so dry everywhere.
No, but I loved the tiny house hunters thing. The first time I saw it, I think it was on like FYI Network or something, because I love that idea of efficiency for the same reason Ayaz was saying. Like, being able to make the most of your space is awesome, and I think that's the motivating. That's the fun part of it. That's the good part of it. Is like, hey, we live very wastefully sometimes. We don't make good use of our space, but yeah, that it often becomes their own personal value system. That's a little bit ridiculous.
It is, and I also love when they come into they focus on somebody who is a collector, and it's like, well, we have to pare down your collection. I was like, what?
No. I'm gonna have to buy myself a second tiny house. It's gonna look a lot like a tough shed.
I'm gonna have a tiny shed behind my tiny home.
That's another show.
Tiny shed.
Tiny shed.
No, there's a show called
Tiny Hoarders.
She Shed is the show.
He said, she said.
Yeah, he said. Wait, he shed, she shed is actually the show title.
Actually, the show is called Even Tinier House.
No, so you're saying there's a real show, Ayaz?
Yeah, that's a real show on FYI right now. He shed, she shed, and it's hard for me to say.
How they both need a shed, but they have different needs for their shed.
It's essentially like, a man cave, or like, I guess, I don't know what they call a man cave for a woman, a room. Whatever you want to call it. I'm not trying to insult anybody. What do you call it?
No, I don't. Yeah, no, the man cave is kind of a dumb name.
But that's a term, right? I've heard that. It's essentially the same thing. It's supposed to be like a shed for each person. I haven't watched a single episode yet, so because I'm right now, if my even guiltier than Tiny House Nation is bargain beachfront property. I like that show.
Okay, that sounds interesting to me though.
Yeah, because it's like, wait, you can spend like only like $135,000 to be on the beach, and like, okay, all right, I should learn to swim, but okay.
There is, by the way, on Netflix, there is a tiny house show where they have this woman who is in Southern California, who is a sound therapist.
I think I know those people.
Yeah, she's a sound therapist, and she's like total flaky. And she wanted this tiny house because she loved everything small. And I think she ended up buying a yurt or something. And
wow, one of the
And then she said, "Oh, this is great. I love that they have this little kitchen, but I want to use it for something else because I'll put my kitchen outdoors." Same thing with her bathroom. I want my bathroom outdoors because I want to use the room inside my yurt for something else. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what you want. You want to go to the bathroom outside, and you want to, when the coyotes and stuff come to your kitchen.
I don't want the bathroom in my yurt.
Well, I don't. That's the same thing. It's like this is my vision of tiny homes. Is they do the tiny home thing, and then the epilogue is this hipster guy with this old tiny curly mustache and a top hat, drinking a martini in a very, very small bathtub with his wife's butt next to him, going to the bathroom because this is your bathroom. It's real small, but you're a hipster.
Stay tuned for next week's illustration, folks.
I should just draw that for sure.
Yeah, you should. You should just make that into something. That's amazing.
For tubs and giggles.
All right, I'm gonna wrap us up here. Thanks.